Hey there folks, welcome to the GT7 Weekly Challenges of August Week 1, in other words, August 1st to August 7th. Starting at the Sunday Cup Classics at Goodwood Motor Circuit. Old Goodwood Motor Circuit. Which I am driving the Mini Cooper S, which not just any Mini Cooper S, it's something I've been kind of experimenting behind the scenes and stuff, because as you notice, it's driving racing hard tires, so it's easily going to just mop the floor of the competition up today. No, I'm kind of just showcasing a build in the future, to say. Which this build is a 1-to-1. Now you're probably wondering what I mean by 1-to-1. 1 horsepower equal 1 mile per hour. So in other words, as fast it can go through the special stage X boosting and downhill, how fast can it go? If it goes this fast, it can have this amount of horsepower. If it can't go this fast, it won't have this amount of horsepower. I will say it will be estimate pretty much, but it's just something I've been thinking and very experimental build in the future. Besides, I will note these are not going to be good builds for like any racing whatsoever, but these are just going to be very fun builds in my mind at the end of it. And especially for these small cars, because these small cars need like something other than the, the PP builds and stuff. Like this might be a better ideal, so to say. I can't say for sure, but it might be pretty good. But overall, this is basically the ideal I have, which is a 139 horsepower Mini Cooper S, because it was able to get that much miles per hour, to say. So yeah, what I did was I maxed horsepower, because I'll be seeing the max horsepower too, which a little drifting off the track there. But I'll be basically doing a fun build where, based on how fast it goes, it's the horsepower it's getting. So if it's 139, it's getting 139. If it's 145, it's getting 145. It just depends on how much the car sets for top speed at the end of it. And it makes you wonder how much top speed a car technically gets just by being as close as it can be. And also, is it going to be healthier in terms of racing? That's the clues I'm trying to find out at the end. But, and it does make you wonder why, cup races haven't like tried this yet, so to say. But because this will technically keep, I would think you kind of keep production cars more alive than ever in this way by doing these kind of builds. But I have to see more. But so far, 139 horsepower with this car. I will say I'll be testing it more and more just to see if there's more I can inch out, so to say. But this is one of the builds so far. I have another one coming up here in a bit. But yep, that's the Mini Cooper S with a 139 horsepower. Pretty fun car at the end of it. This kind of sucks though, because that's a little PG. I bet you can do cable with it. But onto the special event at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, which the special event is a one-night race of the Qashqai Tekna E-Power of Nissan. Get your fluffy pillows ready. It's time to sleep, because honestly, it's just crap and a turd at the end of the day. This is what's gonna bring the weeklies down at the end of the day. I gotta say, there is like one good event I'll say, but that's because I know it so well at this point. Just to say, you probably saw it. It was the last event. The last event is notorious because of a certain White Rabbit car. But to say though, the Qashqai event is this, which is garbage. Just garbage at the end of it. Just to say, I'm using the K build of this car, and it's lower powered than these ones. It still does it. But this is just how bad. This is where when they just do not care about the special event today. The whole point of a special event is to be special, not do a freaking one-make race. I could just turn around and do a custom race at the end of the day. Otherwise, bring it over. So yeah, it just, ugh. I just can't believe you guys do this at the end of it. You just can't, you know, find, you know, I don't know, enjoyment. Although I will admit, I guess if there's one good thing about the Nissan Qashqai, or Qashqai, or Rouge, is, at least it's an FF, and not a bad turning FF at the end of the day. That's probably like a good thing we got. So otherwise, it's just, you know, not very outstanding at all. Heck, now that my brain's just brainstorming about the 1 HP to 1 mile per hour, I wonder how fast this goes on a straightaway. It's probably not going to be that good, because I will say any heavy vehicles like this is probably going to be a big old detriment to that. Also, like, I assume a truck's not going that fast. Because I will say I don't just do 1 horsepower to 1 mile per hour. I also do 1.5 horsepower too lately. I will probably also do a 2 times in the future, but so far 1.5 to 1. So in other words, if it's 100 miles per hour, it's 150 horsepower. So it's not like all help builds. So it's like, matter of fact, that's kind of funny where most of the end results at for the 1.5 build. I will say. You know that gentleman's agreement with Japan? Let's just say a couple cars have hit in that spot basically. So that really is the best horsepower when it comes to cars in general. Because, yeah, you got all these basically different colors of the Qashqai at the end of it. I know it's called the Qashqai, but no, it's Qashqai. The Qashqai. Behold. Or again, you could just call it the Nissan Rouge, because we call it over here the Rouge. But it's called the Qashqai because it's the Japan version. Which is really weird why they gave it that name of all things. But yeah, as you can see, they still haven't threw an update yet to, I don't know, fix my car. The weird black vinyl, because I bet someone's been trying to mention to me, oh, why is there weird black vinyl? That's why, because it has a glitch going on. I don't know if it has something to do with the wide body or what, but it just has that, and I'm keeping that until they notice. Because my god, please notice. So sorry. Yeah, I was able to do like almost past a minute. I did a minute pointing out that lap. So at least it did that. But anyways, off to the race of turbo sports cars at the Fuji International Speedway, which I am driving the Nissan Skyline GTS/RR31. Which not just any Skyline GTS or R31, this Skyline has the 1.58 horsepower build I mentioned. Because yeah, this is the second car. I was going to just turn around and just bring the GTO, because I will say I also did the GTO in advance, but that'll be in due time later. But to say, this is the 1.5 build, which as you saw in the horsepower, it hit 275 horsepower. So, funny stuff. So, in other words, it hit, I'm trying to calculate on that with the brain cells, probably, yeah, I believe it's hitting like around 180 plus, so, there you go. So, I will say, of course, it's like estimate, it's not going to be like factual, like it has to be this mile per hour, but this is the closest I can get, basically, to a chip. So, the reason why I'm doing like the draft boost bonus and the downhill from the Special Stage Group X is because so I can squeeze as much as I can out of the car. This also shows how much the car will take in for speed. It always makes you wonder like how fast these cars go at, you know, a mid-size of speed, or mid-size of horsepower to say. And this is how fast, because it's fast enough to beat these guys. I will note, technically it's the race hard tires doing the work, but still, it did it. Gotta give it that at least. But yeah, it's sitting around like 611 performance points, so it's not high either. So then again, you can turn around and just do a 600 PP build too, as well. But yeah, they're not that competitive, except for like one opponent I'm noticing is the Mercedes AMG GTR. That thing does look very modified, so I don't think the one to be worried of. That's about it. Yeah, you got a lot of interesting opponents here, because this is one of the new events too, because this has the R34 Z-Tune as well, so if you haven't seen my showcase, this is where you can also see it as well. Okay, you can see the wide body version of the Z-Tune on that top of it. Because I will say the wide body of the Z-Tune is much different from the regular Z-Tune. Yeah, you got a lot of interesting opponents from the M2 competitive zone to the Civic Type R FL. Yeah, FL5, okay. Cause yeah, I gotta remember there's an FK and FL. So I know I saw a very interesting car in the Japan tournament one, because I haven't did the Asia Oceania tournament for a good while, and I noticed there was a FK one. Oh, I don't remember seeing this. Oh yeah, it's in the shop. So yeah, we got Escort RS Cosworth, the Garage RCR Civic, the Super RV, the Mercedes AMG GTR stuff. I know Ram, I know Warren, but they're there. Then you got the 400R just in the back. Then you got a regular R34 if you just want to see a difference, so between a somewhat regular R34 to that. I say somewhat because I have wide body. This wide body has a spoiler. And then you have the Tommy Mackinnon. I think that's where you go. I can't remember which number. Probably like 7 or 8. I'm guessing. You got the Z-Tune. Yeah. Got some very interesting competition here from the Focus RS, the GR Super RZ, which that GR Super RZ, we will be seeing him later because he's also in that 600 competition as well. I think that Impreza 22B as well. If I recall. Right, Impreza here too. Because I will say some of these cars here are contenders from the 600. That's the funny part. Yeah, speaking of which, I gotta check out the Focus for the 1.5 horsepower. That's gonna be interesting too. Cause I wonder if hatchbacks are. Oh no, wait. I tried the mini Cooper too. The newer one, the 5 one ish. I won't say new anymore because it's been 20 years now and we still haven't got like another Mini Cooper. So let's say, besides the one since like Grand Theft Auto 4 kind of levels. Although that is a newer one because I think the older one than 4 is 2002, while this one's like 2005-ish. But either way though, we need a new Mini Cooper. So sad. Considering how different they are, because they are very much different. Because I've been into the new ones, and they are so much different. And such. Considering their infotainment thing pops up and stuff, very different in that manner. And the horsepower is like 240 something ish anymore. It's not like 140. Such for just a turbocharged, I think it's 200. It has gotten higher since then. Not a whole lot. Oh yeah, so I guess I should mention more about the builds and stuff too. What's about for the 1.5 horsepower? But yeah, you can see the Skyline Path. Not surprised, that thing has 500 horsepower. But to say though. So the goal is for the 1.5 horsepower builds is that they're going to be as light as possible, so weight reduction all in, basically. So that's going to be that case. They're going to have most of the interchange upgrades, but if they need the engine upgrades, they will, like the Mini Cooper I know did. Another car did for sure. We'll be seeing that shortly. Or not shortly, but like 40 minutes in, I should say. Yeah, this is going to be a long video, unlike the other videos, because the teaser real well, I kind of went all out on that. It is what it is. But you say though, the whole goal was to make it as light as possible, so you can deliver the most speed out of it. Even though there might be cases where even lowering the weight might actually be a detriment to the speed up there. So there might be alternative builds where I'm leaving the weight reduction off, so to say. But I have to see more about that to see if that's true or not. So I need to go check an example between one with the weights and one without weights. But yeah, I'm basically going against the Mercedes now. The Mercedes, he's definitely faster. Okay. And I'm only like gentleman's agreement speed. He's probably like 400, 500. He's sitting up there in the high numbers. While the Z2 is just kind of just driving. But yeah, I think that's the bad part. It's like they have this new opponent. They don't really showcase him being in the front at the end. He's just there. Yeah, just trying to show the dashboard as quick as I can. I will say it's gonna be quick, so if you have to, pause in case you want to check these dashboards. I'll try to check on the left a little bit in case someone wants to look at the dashboard just a little bit. Can't guarantee all of them because then I hurry up at some point. I will let you know when I do recall this moment. Oh hey, that looks just like the Escape's infotainment. Who knew? Anything to the Focus RS's, because yeah, I think the Escape uses like the same build as the RS 20 up. I think that's the one thing it has. Like everything else I think is different, but yeah. Then you have the Z10, which does have different dials and stuff too on top of it. Besides, I don't know, costing like $3 million, by the way, because I will say that's a special car because only 23 of them were made, so therefore, $3 million, please. Even though, unlike the 400R, it doesn't really have much of a special motor, but they're just, you know, I'll take it. But yeah, just me versus the Mercedes. He's faster in straights, but I got out for him because of the racing hard tires. He's using sports hards. He's trying though. He's trying. He can get really close there. Oh, good God. Passes right by me. You bastard. Anyways, in the lightweight K Cup at Autodrome Lago Maggiore East End Reverse Course. I am driving the Suzuki Jimny XC because I don't think I ever drove in a K build of this. So here's the K build of it, which is not bad at the end of the day. I will say I am very brainstorming for the K car build in the future for that 1 horsepower to 1 mile per hour because I wouldn't be surprised these cars are going to be pretty fast for that. Because I will say the lighter the car is, the faster it's going to be. Because I will say this might be a disadvantage to heavy cars because lighter cars might just have the superiority. Who knows? I will say I'll be taking the endurance stats, but when it comes to sprint stats, that's just gotta be a different ballgame about that because this whoever's faster this wins in that department. So far, contenders, I have like 2 A classes because I did like quick tunes. I did like maybe up to 6 cars at quick tunes so far for that. Yep, driving the Suzuki Jimny, which yep, fun truck as usual, fun off-roader. But yeah, I will say, I don't think this is technically an SUV, I think this is technically an off-roader. But it's a fun little off-roader nonetheless. To this day, if we had a K-Sport over here, I think it would go like gold anymore because K-cars have gotten my attention to sometimes. Because I've been looking up K-cars and stuff. You have like the Suzuki Spatio or the Honda Inbox. Pretty cool looking cars, I'm not gonna lie. Little fun boxes. Better than SUVs. And there's like one problem is that, you know, K engines. But yeah, if I would bring K cars over here, I would do the 1 horsepower to 1 mile per hour rule. Just to see like how much better can it be, if possible. Just to prove how good the K cars are. Like for this case, the Jimny, I'm gonna guess it's gonna hit like at least 120 because it is a big bulky truck at the end of it, so it's not gonna be like that crazy. Yeah, I just hope in the future for K cars is going to get interesting for that. Because if the Mini Cooper is going like 139, I'm curious about diesel cars. Because I'll be able to use their horsepower. Because just to say, they have a lot of horsepower. The problem is you'll never use it because you mostly use it for the K build. And if you try to go for 450, you can't do 450. Because chances are it may not even reach it. Though so far, the only one that reached it, even though they really kind of shouldn't, it should technically get nerfed in the future, is the M1 Honda. And the reason why I say it should get nerfed, so it can get better performance. Because just to say, by top speed, the M1 is pretty slow. It goes like 105 on the Nürburgring straight, while a freaking Copeland goes 123. So yeah, the AIs weren't joking when they were showing those ridiculous top speeds at the end of the straights there. They can go that fast. It's just some cars are just out of balance and stuff. And yeah, I wouldn't say nerf the Copeland, or not nerf, but increase the Copeland and Cappuccino, because if the AIs are doing it, you need to stay on par with the AIs now. That's the same goes. Unless Grand Chips so happens to nerf the AIs, this is just how it's gonna be. So say, or otherwise these races become tougher, and there is a specific case that happens when we get to that last event, so to say. So that last event has been a stick in my brain for a good long while, and I did a whole tryouts dedicated to it, just to say. I made the tryouts just because of that reason, in case someone were to so happen to deal with this set event, because this upcoming event is one of the worst, to me, personally. To me personally, because of one specific opponent. One specific opponent ruins it, like big time. And I'm not talking about the NSX. He can drive as fast as he can, but he's gonna two-load it. I'm talking about the other one. So, but yep, here's all the opponent stuff. You got a little beats and cappuccinos, because I will say this is a old event, so you're not gonna be seeing a lot of new K cars. This is like back then when it was like 3 or 4 K cars. Now we have like 5, 7, maybe. It's just as the saying goes, I hope for more K cars in the future, because I would love to see like the N-Box or the Spacia. I would probably say the Spacia. The other choice is some kind of small K SUV. I thought I saw one, but I can't remember what it was called. So that'll be an interesting one, because yeah, instead of a regular SUV, let's look at a little K SUV. I'm curious on how those look like. So, and of course, you gotta bring the famous K car, which is the Ozan, which I don't know why we don't have that at the end, but it must be just license rights. It must be that confusing. So yeah, we have the S660, we have the Beat, we have the Cappuccino, we have the Copen. We do not have the newer Copen, because just to say, there's a newer Copen, but it's I think it's underneath Toyota now, since Daihatsu is dead, technically. Either it's dead or just shelved, I'm not sure. It's really weird, because Daihatsu's been Toyota's little K car at the end of the day. Because Toyota doesn't make the K cars, they have Daihatsu make the K cars instead. So you have cases like the, well, I will say the Storia technically don't think it counts because that's not a K car, but it is one of the small cars that's famous. Famous for like, not in the greatest reasons on the Grand Chips 2 scale, but it's there, it exists. So it's like, but yeah, 7 lap race, basically the equivalent of that around, basically. Would the check would probably be faster if it was other than the Jimny? Probably, yeah, because that wasn't a Jimny. While being small doesn't mean it's gonna go better than these other ones. So it's like, I will say it does make an SUV a bit more on par. Joking aside. So it's like, yeah, this is one of my old details too. I think I used this for the Jimny event, I believe, because they had a special event dedicated to Jimny, so I should probably upload this sometime soon, but I probably am also gonna do more to it at the end of the day. Yeah, it's basically the Jimny going around the track at the end of the day at 58.868. But now on to the World Touring Car 600 at Tokyo Expressway, east clockwise. Which I am driving a returnee, which is the NSX Type R 1992. Yeah, I didn't bother making a new 600 PP for this. I mean, it was either that, or I was going to sick them with the Impreza rally car. Because, yeah, you could take a rally car, you could take a race car to this. But I might as well just rework on one of the cars I need to rework anyway, because I will say all my builds got screwed at the end of the updates and stuff. And I will say, when you go look at those builds, they were in previous updates, so it's like, I should imply which update it's on at the end of the day. It's definitely not 1.61 now. Or it's definitely not like 156, I think. Update 156, I think. Because that was way back, before the last adjustment change to the GT7. So let's say. So yeah, all my 600 PP builds, they might have got screwed in one case or lowered in another case. I don't know what they did at the end of it. But this is one I decided to already tweak already, and for a good reason, because I really need to change the suspension on this one. Which I did. I still think I need to change a bit more, but it does the job at the end of the day for the NSX Type R. But yeah, basically overall a fun car to drive at the end of the day. NSX is. I will note that whole 1.5 horsepower to 1 is definitely not going to work for this race at all, because these cars go a lot faster. So it's like, I will say for the turbine side of things it will, because that's where the racing hard tires get up an inch. So it's because they're just too fast on the straightaways to deal with. It's just the matter of turns though. And this track doesn't really support a lot of turns, so it's all about that speed. You get speed and momentum when it comes to this one. And fuel. If you do not have good fuel, bad. I'll just say that. You need to at least do at least the ability to at least do less than one trip. If you're doing 2 trips, you're going to end up like the guy in front. Because the NSX, he does 2 trips. He's not the problem. What the problem is the second place guy. The RE Mamiya RX-7. Screw that guy. Screw that guy personally, because that guy is a big old piece of shit. I'm not even gonna, gentlify that, because he's a big old piece of shit for an AI. You wanna know cheating AIs? That's cheating AI. So, not only I guess this is technically a showing, but a guide, I guess you could say. But yeah, if you want to beat this race, you want to go with the sports hard tires. Sports hard tires, try to lower your weight a bit, because you're going to be burning your tires, because it's 12 on that tire scale. I would say some cars are fine, but there's a lot of old, if you're driving like a couple old cars, some of the old cars just ain't good about their tire angle at the end of the day. Mostly end up burning their backs more than fronts for some reason. I don't understand that concept, but it is what it is. And then yeah, beware of this one car. I will say you could try sports mediums, but you might want to have a light build for that, because if you don't, the tires are going to burn like no tomorrow. Because that just seems to be the biggest problem about this race at the end of the day. The tires just burn like no tomorrow. If the tires did not burn like no tomorrow, it would be fine. So, but because they put like 12 for some reason. Because yeah, this is one of the events where the tire burnage is very high. A lot higher than it needs to be. But yeah, there is the White Rabbit himself, the RE Mamiya RX-7, which screw this guy with a passion, man. I've never been so hated on such a specific car ever. This is the one car I despise, because he is definitely a cheating build. I'll just say that. He's definitely going 650. You wanna know why? Because he uses sports soft tires! And he runs about 190 miles per hour, by the way. which is a lot of horsepower for that car. Probably the maximum amount of horsepower for that car, because just to say, I tried out that car too, and that car does not hit anywhere close to performance this guy will give it at the end of the day. It hits a similar mark, but not the exact same. And that's what I hate about it. If there's one opponent that needs to be nerfed to oblivion, it's that bastard. While the NSX kind of needs to be nerfed on the horsepower department because he does 2 trips. Oh, I think it's not really horsepower. I think he just burns his tires like no tomorrow. But the thing is, when you compare it to a heavy car like the NSX to the REM Mamiya, it's night and day, because the REM Mamiya's advantage is that he's a balanced light car. Because it is the RX-7 after all. The RX-7 is very light because of its rotary engine. This is the advantage that a rotary engine has, is that they're very light in return. A lot more lighter than the Super RZ, I would say. Matter of fact, it's kind of on par with the Honda NSX. Well, specifically the 1992. Not the newer one. The newer one's just heavier because of the hybrid system. So, matter of fact, that's why he's able to go very fast in return. Thing is, what causes him the most is that he has to do 2 trips because his tires burn like no tomorrow. I will know, if the tires are lowered, he might become the problem then. So it is a hard judge call to say at the end of the day. Although I will say that NSX is also probably the what's the best way to say it? Well, I will say this event is definitely very rubber band progression. The more high you get up there, they're going to get faster. Heck, I think if I recall, I set this to hard and nothing changed. Like, this is purposely set on hard, by the way. This is one of those events. Heck, I would say majority of 600 events, for some reason, they are set to hard. I gotta say, if you try hard and you try normal, you will realize it is exactly the same in terms of feeling. Which is really weird, because some events do get an overhaul. Because I know 700 WTC, that acts different. This one don't. This one's just defaulted to hard. Which I do not understand that, period. Besides saying, you know, it's bullshit. As the saying goes. Besides, you know, oh, you get a good amount of money. You know what's better? Go do the 800 WTC one at the fucking windmill, Sardega windmill one, because that's so much better than this crap thing. I mean, you still have to still technically deal with tires if you're using production 750 PP build car, but if you're using a race car, you're fine. Absolutely fine on that. So, but yeah, you always get less of a headache doing that than this one. This one has been my bane since then. This is probably the hardest event I can think of on a basis. Is this one? It's this one, and then also technically the tournament, because in the tournament, that White Rabbit's also a bastard there too, because he outturns, or he can outturn, because again, he's on sports softs. Because yeah, he's the one who is just upgraded throughout, basically. He is not different at all. You know, it's funny, because the same person who drives that REM drives just a regular RX-7 Spirit in, I believe, the Clubman race or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, that's already just taking a dash in, Jesus Christ. I will say, they do get a little risky. Such, but yeah, I have many things to say about this event in particular, because this event is just a pain in the ass for no reason. Besides, oh, you get a lot more money. Oh, who do. You can get more money at the Le Mans event. Even though I will admit the Le Mans does take a bit longer, so you have to do exactly 30 and then plus after. So technically it's like 33. This is like 26, 27 minutes, I will say. So if you were doing a short run burst of a Mans, you're fine. If you're doing a long run though, maybe this catches up to me. if you're like doing like 3 a session, so to say. Just to get like a quick $1 million or $2 million. Because yeah, I will say the good part is you get a lot of money. This is probably the best event they could technically toss weekly wise. It just kind of sucks though. It's one of the events that's also one of the most roughest one, I would say, because yeah, as I said, momentum's a very big issue when it comes to this on the wall. For some reason, and not a good reason. Did I had fun doing those 600 pp tryouts? Technically I did, but it's just odd. It's just a very odd case. I want to say this event's technically kind of good. Which I say technically good because the NSX and GTR. It's just the REM Amiya is a real bastard out of the bunch. For like no reason. And that car is not that good, by the way. It's not even really that good. It's okay, it's just not, you know, like super fantastic. It's not better than this, I'll tell you that much. Which, woo, sick burnout for drift. That's so good. I'm after him like a nail tomorrow. Yeah, he's about to pit here because I will say he pits like right here on this lap. Yeah, the track's getting drier too. Because here's the other thing too, the track starts off wet too. So be careful of, you know, seeing water spots and stuff, unless you're just trying to cool off your tires, because I will say that is a strat. Like eventually it gets to the point of you just see mere water puddles, you can use that as a match. That is a strat. It's just as long as you don't, you know, just try to spray and not, you know, bleeding off that turn or such. Yeah, you can tell where it's all wet throughout this trail here. So as it goes left and to right there. Such. But yeah, my opponents are the GTR, which he's not a bad one, he's an okay one. He's probably like a sub tough, but he's like a good tough. Where the REM Amiya, he's a cheater bastard half the time. Which is weird too, because the guy who drives the GTR, he usually drives the Nismo one. He's just driving the red GTR. Because I will say, some opponents changed their cars for this instance here too, on top of it. But for some reason, it's the red GTR than the Nismo. Very strange in regards. Then again, I gotta mention too, the NSX also changed too, because I will say he has a spoiler and everything else too. The REM Amiya relatively stays the same throughout the whole 600 WC so far. Which is kind of funny, because eventually he becomes the non-broken one. The next broken one is usually the Hurricane or the RGT at Road Atlantica Michelin one. Or Road Michelin Atlantica, something like that. But yeah, so beware of ever doing that one because you have the RGT and that car is even faster. So say, because he not only has sports mediums, he goes pretty freaking quick because he's, you know, straight from the dealer ship at the end of it. He's straight up like 600 plus horsepower on top of it. So one hell of a challenge, I'll say. And probably the one event I kind of just skip over when it comes to testing, because screw that one personally. Especially when it comes to, I'll just say this, the grade 4s I'm currently tuning for the 600 probably can't really do that one because of the RGT. The RGT is a real miss, like I said. It's like slightly doable, but if you just so happen to be up there on the start of the grid, it's just impossible. It becomes impossible, as it does. But yeah. Oh yeah, well no, whenever someone pits too, suddenly they just get a boost of speed, by the way. Like now I would say he went from like 185 miles per hour to like 190 now. For his case. Same case with the REM Amiya. But yeah, I want to say the driver's names, but technically it's not really the driver at the end of the day, so I'm not going to fault them at the end of the day. I did joke around saying V-Gal so many times though. Because he is a real mess. Because, joking aside. But basically, that's basically what I got to mention for now. Besides, I guess, more about the builds and stuff. So I think I mentioned what I need to mention about this event at the end. Yeah, like I said, this event is not fun to deal with, but once you got it down, basically, you got a moneymaker other than that here, too. You can do it. And like I said, you could turn around and take race cars and stuff. I will note, grade 4 race cars are not that good. Technically, they do okay. It is doable, as I've shown from the builds and stuff. Which, yeah, I will say those builds are up to date. So you can use the Viper grade 4, the Supra one I just recently did. You can use those. I will say you better be kind of skilled at driving the car at the end of the day, because if you're not, well, that is. Yeah, here comes the REM Mamiya, now he's on the predator mode. Because yeah, the top lap, as shown by the GTR, he does about 210.6. And I will say, from the previous update, I don't know if they fixed this or not, but I recall Mr. NSX there doing a 206.9. I can never forgive that. Because I will say, he will haul ass at some point. It's just, he hasn't really shown it since then. I don't know if he still does, but just to say, there's a case where I saw a 206.9. It's like, oh my god. Quick. That is definitely rubber band if you don't see one basically. But yeah, you can see like the previous ones from the Impreza 22B, what was the other one I mentioned too? The WRX, yeah, the WRX is here too. The Supra is there too as well. We got the DB11, the Hurricane. The Hurricane's also here too, but he's nowhere as bad. Nowhere as bad as he is in the regular sprint events. Because in the sprint events, he's kind of more notorious. The Hurricane is, but otherwise he's not so bad. And you got the Viper SRT10, who just chillaxes. He just drives. Got a spoiler. That's about it. Such. Yep, so now I just basically just drive to victory at this point. If anything, I gotta go fuel eventually here. Because I will say, the good part about this SX, 10 laps. 10 laps to drive still, it needs fuel. And this race is a 12 lap. And such. But yeah, if you want to break this race in two, I will say, just go get the Ford Mark IV, just lower it down to 600, slap 4 hard tires to it. You got a car that is basically a one run. Because the Mark IV is an old race car that has a big old fuel tank, so guess what it can do? Because I will say, any car with a big fuel tank is most likely going to win this. Our big fuel tank hits about 190 or 100. I would say if you want more safer spot, 180. If it passes 180, you're good. So sorry. And then if its tires just never really burn out very much, you can do a one run of this race to say too. And if you do, it does go like 25 to 26 minutes, so it's even less. That's the other crazy part. Oh, so yeah, did I try to do a 1.5 horsepower one against this? Yes, that worked. Didn't work as it goes. Maybe a 2 times horsepower to one maybe. I don't know. I have to think about it. I just drive to victory at the end of the day. That's what. Basically have fun on it. Well, I got the NSX try to give chase. I just say he'll pit again on Red Reserve. Yeah, he pits like no tomorrow. Because yeah, I will say because of the track being dry, the tires burn even more. But I will say that's the other thing to note. When this track starts to dry up, the tires will start burning more. Because at first it's fine because due to the wetness, it will not burn as much and such. I just look at the fonts at the end there. Got UV11, F-Type R. Yeah, I think I did the camera style differently too this time. I think I straight up just turn around and show them. Or I'm making the super space. It might be super space. What's that? Yeah, I got the Viper there, but I had to pit though. Because I will say, if you ever pass that Viper exterior S rank in terms of cars, because the goal is to beat that Viper. Or overlap that Viper at the end of it. Not technically beat it, but because you're already beating it, you're just overlapping it. Now the real goal is to beat the RE Yamamiya. The RE Yamamiya is the rabbit that has a butt to deal with. Because unlike the NSX, his tires don't burn like no tomorrow. And also, he's running about 190 miles per hour, which by the balance of this is very cheap, I gotta say. Very much cheap, because like I said, I tuned this car at a 650 build. It does the Zack of that, so he has to be hitting around 650. Has to. There's like no buts to that. What's that? Yeah, now I'm just trying to get there. Yeah, now he's gonna get chased. I will say the rubber band does help him. And that rubber band is tight. It's like, I would say a 10-second difference. If you're 10 seconds away from them, they will start to catch up. Oh yeah, there's the fun one. You just see the Super RZ trying to get there. Because yeah, even he's not a challenge. He's there, and sometimes it just happens. But yeah, you got the GR Supra. Like yeah, he's a special case, like I said. He doesn't technically go that fast, but he has like all those endurance factors. And I think he was just like which is kind of funny because I think it reminds me of my early days when I tried this during the beginning days and how rough it was. So sad. Until I got more understanding of it. Oh hey yeah, go with the sports hard tires because for speed wise it's better. For turn wise that's not so great because I will say cars with sports hard tires do struggle with turning forces. So if you do that tournament's kind of going to be tough with sports hard tires. You might want to go with the sports medium style at that point. The only reason why I don't go medium and sauce because they burn like no tomorrow. For this race for some reason. I have no idea why. So yeah, if you do those said tires, get ready to pit. Basically, I don't know if you're gonna end up pitting twice. If you do, you lose. That's it, goes. And considering, I love how bald that one's tires was right there. Just, oh my god. Cause yeah, they could just straight up just drive bald and they're fine. That's the biggest thing I hate the most. Cause I will say they kind of ignore their tires until it gets like bare minimum low. Then they'll just pit. It's like. Good God, I don't know if that's just, you know, that doesn't tell me by experience how bad I am as a driver, or, you know, that's just how good they are at keeping their tires from not freaking out or turning sporadically. Because yeah, when you get that low, you shouldn't be turning that good at all. Like, really at all, but yeah, I had to do a quick sip at the pit. Get some more fuel, just a little bit. Yeah, this could do. What's this? I did have to lean at least once at that last lap because it's in the odd number, but it's in the high odd number. So I used to lean to round it at the end there. So I was to get that 10 laps. Otherwise, it technically does 9 laps. That's still pretty good though for that. At the end of the day. And I'm also not surprised. It's an NSX, so. It's the classic NSX. Yeah, this car is just known for that. Being so light, being so fuel efficient, and straightforward driver. Just one problem I say, it's kind of a slouch. Very soft for suspension, and which is kind of funny because that's the Art and Cena saying. Because he said that to the car at the first moments, so Honda turned around and tried to make it more rigid, even though it still feels more like a sponge. That's probably the one problem, because I know a lot of people don't like the Honda NSX. Because of that reason. It's so spongy. But it doesn't really also have much acceleration, and the top speed's okay. It's like top speed hits about like 193 to say and such. Yep, let's try and get to this last lap. I think it's the last lap, so I'm just showing all the cars at the end there once again. Cause yeah, like I said, like all the other contenders, they hit about like either 160 or 180. It's like the Three Stooges. There's the GTR, who I consider the most lowest stooge. He's probably the most fairest one of them all. The REM Mamiya is the highest stooge of the bunch, and the NSX is like the in-between stooge. Like he's fast, but he feels twice, so he's the pinhead one. The real question one is which one the Marley. Alright, so now on to the last moment of the race, which I could see he's trying to pull a best record here, considering 0.4 less there. That's progression rubber band kicking in a notch. That's usual. So yeah, like I said, the rubber band hits hard on this race too, and all, but it does not mess around. It makes sure to like, oh hey, he's 10 seconds ahead of you? Okay, we're gonna swing shot you just a bit. Hang on a second. Whoosh! Basically. I go 190 now. I go 190. God damn. That might be just cutting the corner big time, dude. I'm supposed to drift there now. Although I'm pulling like the fastest time too, and love it. Yeah, let's see. Alan just did 210.1. Let's see here. And we got 210.013. There we go. As quick as I can get for now. It's only like 2 minute time. So now on to the rewards, which I need to change oil on that. It's good. So with some 3-star tickets I got from the Driving Marathon. So, because I think I have one earlier and one recent as well. Because yeah, the day before I had the weeklies is when I had the brainstorm of the whole 1 horsepower equal 1 mile per hour and stuff. I guess that's also the great part of doing that stuff too. Also tells you how good the motor is too in the car and stuff. It's air to max overall. But yeah, 2 things of pocket change. 2 $10,000s. Yeah, 150,000, and then the tech was essentially the worst reward. The ticket parts. Why do these exist still? These are the worst freaking rewards because you can't even turn around and sell them either. You just stuck with them. So boy, let's have this Yu-Gi-Oh mechanic where we just stuck with that card. Or in this case, a part that you'll never realize you can use because it doesn't say, oh hey, you have this part on the side, you want to use this instead? That would be so convenient if it existed. But yeah, here's the card though. Got a Toyota Grotto Hybrid. Which, the bad part is I think I already have that car, so I just turn around and sell that. I don't know. $3 million though, at least. So, that's a good part. So that basically wraps that, so to say. So that basically wraps up for this weeklies, which yeah, if I gotta say, this weeklies at the end of the day, probably a C or B, because at least you got a fun event, you can just get some money and stuff, as long as you understand the difficulty and what's at stake and stuff for that. The things I pinpoint at the end of the day, and hopefully that helps at the end of the day. But until then, people, I'll see you guys all next time. You guys take care and such. And until then, enjoy this teaser where I showcase some cars at the 1.5 horsepower to 1 mile per hour, which in this case, the D-Warren S2 versus a couple other cars too I tried. Alright, I should say quick test, I should say. But until then, people, ciao.